Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Family Reelz. We are the titular family, and we are indeed Reelz.
What?
Whatever. I have the applause for the family. We are... Okay, so we decided... This was your idea, Mom, so you try to explain it.
Oh, basically, it was the idea that there were movies that didn't do well at the box office, but were really good movies. So we explored some, 3 for each one of us, which ones we thought were good. That
we did. And so we finally let Jonna go first because she actually was able to pick one.
Yes.
So
I kind of did choose it. We just didn't want to pay money to go see the other movie.
Well, you did. It was one of the two that you had.
Well,
so technically it's a choice.
And I wouldn't have made the choice if having to pay for it.
Right. But since it was your secondary, it worked out. Since we had this movie.
But it was between those. If I probably wouldn't have been able to figure it out if both of them were readily available. So
it helped you make the decision.
Yes. Yeah. I was first, and the movie I chose was Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
2016
Ghostbusters.
version. Yes.
So this movie cost $229.1 million to make, and only brought back $144 million. So
that's crazy.
Damn. And then its estimated loss was about $75 million. And so this is a box office bomb by those standards. You got to at least break even.
Yikes.
And it did not do that. But I have theories on why that is. And let's just talk. Let's before we get into this episode, let us just talk about it. Because I think that this movie as a whole kind of got a bad rap simply because, white dudes don't like not seeing themselves in everything. And then you have what I call purists who think that changing anything is the worst thing you could possibly do.
Right.
And then also there's a stigma that women aren't as funny as men.
Yeah, that was the thing, which is crazy.
It's an insane thought.
It is.
There's a lot of funny, very hilarious women,
yes.
and in this movie, it exhibits
Absolutely.
We have 4 hilarious women,
yes.
just in
Kristen
general.
Wiig and what's her name?
Kate McKinnon.
That's her. Oh yeah,
yes.
Kate McKinnon.
Oh my gosh, she's
and then of course Melissa McCarthy, who's been funny for the last 15 years.
Exactly. Let's first of all let's go with that. It's
she's been headlining movies for 15 years now.
Yeah.
She's been killing it.
Yeah.
Not to mention her own sitcom, all that stuff.
And then Leslie Jones, she is crazy.
I love her.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So and then it was okay, sometimes you can get collaborations like that, and it's some really good people, but the chemistry doesn't work or something like that. I don't see that's the case here. I mean, so they kind of panned it even before it got an opportunity.
It never got the opportunity.
It never did, and it was because it got panned so badly.
Yeah,
and we're talking about how terrible it was before it dropped. I mean,
exactly, and it really wasn't given the chance to even people, and then the people who saw it unwilling to give it a chance.
Yes.
So it's kind of it's twofold in that sense, where it's you go in wanting it to be bad because you don't want it to be good. You just don't want anyone to. Yeah, you don't want anyone to see
that's
in the situation.
For me, anything that has Beyonce. It's I probably won't like it.
I mean, but unfortunately, you're not not wrong.
I know that, but what I'm saying is, I probably wouldn't give it a chance.
There is a bias still.
There is. It's just what it is. So
yeah, we all have bias. I don't like Ryan Gosling.
I can admit that. You know what I mean? I can say that.
He doesn't like you.
I don't. What does that have to do with anything? I go see his. I'm the one who has to go see. He doesn't go see anything I do.
Hey, he's about to be Ken in the new Barbie movie. Whatever.
Yeah, what the fuck is that about?
I don't
man?
know. Caught me off guard.
Yeah, that looks
There's
stupid.
A
legitimate Barbie movie coming out. Yeah.
Well, I guess I could say honestly, I'm surprised it hasn't happened thus far.
Well,
even though it shouldn't be happening, but I'm not. I'm kind of shocked that it's 2022 and this hasn't happened yet because running out of stuff. Number one,
Yeah, there's not an original, and all the original ideas are kind of put to the wayside, and it's kind of whack.
they are.
Yeah.
They're in the independent
Or executed
genre,
poorly.
getting.
Well, no,
glossed
it doesn't even matter because like I will take an original idea even if it's bad because
Right.
it's something I haven't seen.
Yeah.
So it's like at least I have the chance to decide. Everything being a remake, I have to compare it to something that already exists.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, okay, is this movie going to be good? I don't know. I'm like this one. I like this
And
movie.
honestly, you know what? Because you said that made me think they're making movies that are going to be challenged on concept. So
Yeah.
once you mention it, before you even
Because if people already have an idea,
start previewing the movie, people
Yeah.
will already say,
if people
why are they
already have
remaking
an
that?
idea in their head
Yes.
of what's supposed to happen, it's
So
already
why are
going
you
to
giving
change.
yourself an uphill battle on stuff? You just have to retell this story.
Yeah, and that's the thing, especially if it's considered like a classic. Like
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to, like that's why I think like the only people who think they don't have that problem is Disney because they remake all their stuff and they just be like it's gonna be fucking great, whatever.
Right.
Like, but it's never great.
Right.
And like so far,
But
those live
they-
actions have not been good.
They kind of get over
Because they're Disney.
Disney, yes.
The name carries them more than anything else
And the only
ever
time
will.
it works, just like Fun with Dick and Jane worked, because the other one wasn't as widely known in a successful way,
And so
that-
far removed that
Right.
you
Yeah.
can kind of
Yes.
like even if you do remember it, you can kind of forget it.
It's not like it was from 15 years ago.
I did forget it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I've never heard. I didn't know it until I looked it up that it was, and after you told me, and then I looked it up, I was like, oh, that I didn't know there was an original. So it's like,
Yeah.
I'm going into this. To me, this is a brand new movie. I've never seen it before,
Right.
so it does. So it works in that situation. But then you got like I'll say one of the worst ones. I think the problem is the liberties that people take, like Dumbo.
I don't know. I still didn't see that new age one.
Well, they took away
Everything.
Yeah.
I would
all
say
the best parts.
the problem with it is it's like when you try to remake something and you take away all the things that made it great.
Yeah.
Like Mulan. Taking out the fun of Mulan
Yeah.
made it an incredibly boring movie with
I
some
couldn't even
decent
get to
action in it.
could
But
get
other
to
than
the
that,
first
I
20
couldn't care less. Like
That's not what we wanted. What we wanted in Mulan was Mushu. We wanted that cricket.
but they made Cricky a person.
Oh, they did?
Some like chubby kid who was like, my mom says I'm lucky, and I was like, I'm fucking out of here. I was like, no, sir. And we didn't get the dragon. Instead, we got a phoenix who flew around every once in a while and said nothing. So it was whatever. But that happens, and since we're talking about remakes, you said you don't think it's a remake. I like the term reimagining, but it's still a remake of sorts.
In their world, Ghostbusters don't exist. Like the Ghostbusters.
No, that's
don't
why it's a
exist.
remake.
Well,
The movie
exactly.
itself is a remake.
Right.
Because when in
Oh,
their
true,
world,
you're right,
the
you're right.
Ghostbusters didn't
You're
exist
right,
either.
you're
So
right.
it's the same thing.
I don't think I was talking about the other movie. It's not a remake. It's
Which
kind of
one?
like a continuation.
What movie?
With the
New one.
kids.
No, yeah, the newer one. That's
Yeah.
a continue. It's like it's a sequel. It's actually it's classified as Ghostbusters 3 technically.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. This would be a remake. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
This would be a
right.
remake of the original.
Yeah, because they're like discovering Ghostbusters.
And for everybody hating on this shit, Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd still wrote the goddamn movie.
Oh, they did?
Yes.
And look at
Wow.
all the people that were there. That were Annie Potts,
She's
Sigourney Weaver,
still so fine. Also still so fine.
Ernie Hudson,
Hudson.
Dan Aykroyd,
everybody
Bill Murray,
everybody but Rick Moranis.
Oh,
Just because.
Rick Moranis.
Rick Moranis.
Because he retired, literally.
He came out to do Brother Bear, but that was voice
a
work.
while ago.
Yeah.
Brother Bear?
He was a moose in Brother Bear.
Oh.
But it was voice work, so it's not like he had to go do anything crazy. He just went
Yeah.
and did some voice work, but he did. He had retired from
he
acting
literally
to take care of
he was
his kids after his wife died.
Oh.
Oh, I didn't know that part.
So I'm pretty sure it's over now. I mean, they're probably grown. I don't know how old they were.
Yeah, but I think he literally. I mean, it doesn't happen much
That people
you
just
don't-
retire.
that people just literally say, "I'm
Because
retiring
I've
from
always
acting."
said I think there's a few things that you can actually retire from. Like
Wait, I thought he Didn't he die?
No, Rick Moranis is still alive.
Yeah, he's still on.
Don't kill Rick Moranis.
No, somebody else had told me.
Yeah, don't kill Rick Moranis, man. But I think it's like music you can never retire from. No matter what people say, you can never retire because the moment you get the itch, you come right back easy. It's not. But
you know what's crazy? If you don't say anything and you just kind of disappear, people will assume. Because literally, I'm gonna say 3 weeks ago, I discovered that Roberta Flack was still alive. I've been thinking she died a while ago. She has a Facebook and everything.
Really?
She just and she's actually performing live.
Wow.
You know, doing shows. But she's just like I guess really,
but she's not really in talks a lot.
Yeah, and which is weird because she gave a lot. It's crazy. Now I'm about to go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, you got to go down a rabbit hole.
Why nobody is talking about Roberta Flack like she was nobody in this industry.
We've had this discussion. She is not of the generation. Most of these people don't know who the fuck she is.
I don't.
I know some of the songs. I love her voice.
You know some of the music.
If you heard it, you'll know the music, and that's what it really comes down to. I know the music. I don't know her, so it's like I didn't grow up with her, so I don't know who she is as a person and all these different things.
And because she did it, what happened was she didn't continue recording. And so people you do know, Shaka Khan, Patti LaBelle and stuff, they recorded within a certain time frame so you still kind of
Well, I know both Shaka Khan and Patti LaBelle dropped albums in like the late 90s.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's why. And she didn't. She stopped dropping stuff in the 80s.
It's still a rose.
And that's Aretha Franklin, of course.
Baby. She dropped that, and then I remember when that dropped, I was like, But all right. Yeah. So to the movie that we're doing, which is Ghostbusters 2016, just called Ghostbusters. Which is dope. I appreciate that instead of trying to give it like a stupid little hashtaggy thing where it's like Ghostbusters, the new generation, or some stupid shit like that.
So we don't have to give a synopsis on this, right?
Do your thing.
If you know anything, look, even
the synopsis is it's Ghostbusters.
Yeah, it's Ghostbusters. I mean, anybody who doesn't know, like even if you've never watched the whole movie, you know Ghostbusters.
You ever watched the cartoon?
No.
You ever watched the cartoon?
No, that sounds ridiculous.
I watched the cartoon.
Sounds ridiculous.
It's pretty good. It was. No, it was. There's no sounds. It was pretty ridiculous.
It was in the 90s, so.
Yeah, the 90s were an interesting
time.
If you've been following me on TikTok, you know that I've been documenting 90s cartoons, and they are insane, man. I'm just like going down that rabbit hole and remembering certain stuff. Like
they're so awful and great.
We watched. No, some of them are good, and then it's like Tasmania. I was like, who the fuck's idea was that? To be like, oh, you know who needs a show? The one who doesn't talk.
Doesn't say anything but
well, they did that with all those characters had
Well, you had Duck Dodgers, there was Duck Dodgers in 21st and a half, which was actually really good. And then when they brought it back in like the early mid 2000s, it was like even better.
Yeah.
Because it had better animation, they gave it story. It was like an episodic thing, and it was really cool. And then you had like, I think there was a Bugs and Tweety show.
Yeah.
But it was really it was Bugs and Tweety show, but it was really just Looney Tunes with their faces on it. And then there was a Bugs and Daphne show, which was the exact same thing with just their faces on it. So it was, I don't know, man. But then there was like Eek the Cat.
Oh yeah.
And that shit was garbage.
I've never seen that.
You're not missing anything. Eek the Cat was trash. Earthworm Jim had a show, like it was good times. You remember the game Earthworm Jim, right?
No.
Well, they made a move. They made a show.
You know what? I have heard of it. I never played it.
He's an earthworm.
Yeah.
And his name is Jim.
Yeah.
And he's got like a spacesuit.
I see that. Yeah.
Very creative. I mean, so clever.
Sounds crazy.
Mwah. Chef's kiss.
Hey.
So where does this movie start while we wait for Mom to come back?
This movie. Oh, it starts off.
Oh wait. When she comes back, we gotta. It's her birthday, so we're doing the happy birthday thing when she comes back.
Oh, okay. Wait.
We're not gonna sing it. No, I'm not fucking singing shit. We just gotta remind everyone that it's Mom's birthday.
Oh yes, it is Mom's birthday today.
It is. We celebrated yesterday, so we're all still reeling, and now we're drinking again because
I'm not gonna reveal her age, but
she's 100.
It's a big marker. Yeah, close.
It's absolutely
very close.
100. Oh, Jesus H.
As she starts destroying the office.
What?
The
little thingy.
So we made the announcement, and
there she is, Mom. We forgot to tell you, it is my mother's birthday. Oh, Lord have mercy.
I know, I'm just...
She turned however old, and now all of a sudden, everything just went downhill.
I'm having a literal moment.
Whatever. Okay. It's been a good
Technical
weekend.
difficulties.
Good birthday weekend.
With the body.
Yeah. I know, I'm breaking down. This is what happens when you get to seniorhood, I guess.
Yeah, we got to hit them early bird specials, man. I'm telling you.
Is really trying to get these early
I just want to go. Yes, I do. I
want
to go. I want to go. I want to hit them early birds. I want
all that.
I'm like, yeah, this is my grandma. No, I'm just kidding.
Honestly.
Anyway.
All right, so back to the movie, but yes, it is Mother's birthday. Happy birthday. We love you.
75, huh?
75.
All right, so let's go back to the movie. How it starts off, it's like this tour guide's giving tourists a tour of the tour. This tour guide's giving tourists a tour of this supposedly.
Yeah, I just put Haunted Mansion. Yeah, but I was saying we were watching. It's like, why is this house so open? Like, there's no like walls. It's just like everything is like
it was walls
barely. But you know what I mean? Like, there's hallways and stuff. He was like, this is the room here. This is the room here. Usually, this is weird.
A lot of those it's like they have foyers, and then you have...
Man, look.
It's a lot of...
I don't want my house to be that open.
Every formal kind of rooms. This is like places that have formal dining room.
Yeah.
The formal living room. And then they'll have a family room. And then...
I don't like that. I like
too much.
I like an open concept. No, I really do though.
Yeah, I'm beginning to be a fan of it.
Yeah, it's nice. You can be in two rooms at the same time,
and not just that. It does when you think about this whole haunted mansion.
The kitchen and the living room at the same time.
You can see stuff. You don't have things hidden behind doors.
No,
and walls.
that's the thing about this mansion. It does have corridors and hallways and things, and
it has one. From what I can tell, it has one hallway.
That is always
obviously, we're not supposed to be seeing the whole house. We couldn't tell
anyway because there's a whole bunch of shit like old people do. Just put a whole bunch of knickknacks and shit everywhere, cover up every wall, rugs,
curtains on top of your curtains.
It's just
typical old people home.
Look like a haunted house.
Yeah.
But I will say, this tour guide is he's doing a good job. Like, if I was on this, I would feel interested because the way he's explaining it makes it sound like it's actually something,
right?
Instead of like when you see like those museum curators and they're just like, and this is a painting by such and such, and he painted it in this year. Okay, moving on. And I'm like, all right, I don't give a shit about any of these things. They all look like all these paintings look stupid.
Yeah. But I don't know.
I'm not an art guy like that.
That guy makes me laugh only because like who he plays like in The Office.
Oh my God, you in The Office. Like, get over your dead TV show, man.
The Office. It's not the greatest episodes, the later episodes.
It's okay.
I still like that show.
He was in The Office?
Yeah,
he was in the later episodes.
He clearly wasn't memorable enough for any. I've seen it, and I don't remember him.
Because it was like in the last 2 seasons.
Oh, yeah, I stopped watching after that when they started adding in weirder characters.
I went through the whole thing, and honestly, it's still funny.
It's fine.
Not as funny.
Well, it's like, in
a different way.
Cheers.
Yeah.
The later seasons weren't as good, but you still watch them.
Yeah, they were good enough to watch.
Well, Cheers is better than The Office. Yeah. I'll just tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you say that, and you still haven't even really watched The Office like that.
I watched The Office the same way I watched Cheers, as it happened. So, it's fine.
Not going back.
I didn't have streaming. I watched Cheers when it was on.
Whatever.
And I just remember
Well, no, you did it. You watched it in its second coming. You didn't watch it when it was
on. I watched it with Mom. Mom would watch it, and it would just be on, and then all of a sudden all you hear is,
I don't remember
sometimes you want to go where
used to come on,
everybody knows your name.
Whatever channel it came on, Channel 11 or whatever.
And they're always glad you came.
All right, that's enough of this. Let's get back to the story. So,
Norm.
Everybody, he's touring these people around the haunted mansion. And it's like it actually starts turning haunted, supposedly.
Oh yeah,
like a little lamp.
Well, we see him. Well, because contextually, he's talking about what happened. He's telling the backstory of the thing, and everybody's kind of there's that one guy who's just like, and like he freaks out when he was like, and she killed the father and the mother and whatever. And then the girl was like, that one guy in the back was like, holy shit.
I want to be that extra. I want to be an extra movie so bad just
this
to be
dude,
that guy.
That's how you know this dude has fun everywhere he goes, because he's so susceptible to the fun. He's just like, shit, you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me?
That's the best kind of extra.
He's having a great time. He's like, babe, you won't believe what I heard today. This shit was fucking crazy. Like, but then he like obviously a candle falls and he's like, oh, let's just move away from the door. Blah blah blah.
No, but remember he says something about
they locked her in the door. They
locked her in there, and it's been locked ever since. And then all of a sudden, it like opens up a little bit, and didn't it open?
No, just the candle falls.
Just
the candle falls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and the door kind of moved, didn't it?
No, just the candle fell.
Oh yeah.
Just the candle falls. Nothing really happens. It's like the candle falls.
We both.
And then he's kind of like, we find out that he did it with this little magnets clearly, and he's just like I'm so clever. But it is genius, and I appreciate it, because go that extra mile to give people an experience. That's something.
That's small.
Because then people are going to talk about that to other people. They're like, that's bullshit. I'm going to have to go check this out for myself. You know what I mean? Like, yo, the candle did fall every time I went. Like, but it is. So he does that, and then the door opens.
Well, then they show when that candle fell, though.
Yeah.
That little blue LED light thing.
Which, those things are kind of irritating throughout this entire movie. I will say that. They're just like, because they're there.
Weren't really needed.
And they don't do anything particularly, even though they tell us that they do.
I think, like in other movies, because unfortunately there are people who don't put things together. They're trying to keep them connected with the fact that this is something having to do with the real ghost.
Happening. Yeah.
I can dig that, I guess.
Well, if they were to open up,
we're very analytical, so we're going to follow the crumbs.
But the whole point was they're like to open up. There were the
power
to open up.
No, I get that, but what I'm saying is like how they're portrayed is kind of like it's vague, because we're told they do this thing, but for the most part they just happen to be there. So it's kind of like, I'm just like, you could have done.
It's enough. It's a representation.
Yeah, it's like you could have just told me that was happening. You didn't have to show me every single time.
Yeah,
because it's just like, it's a waste of an effect, and that's probably why this movie cost $229 million. Like, you get those little blue boxes out of here, you cut that cost in half a little bit, maybe,
possibly.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No, there's a lot of shit
now
in this
that
movie.
I look. Yeah, when you
this
remembering
movie,
the stuff,
I can
see why it costs
$229 million.
Well, all the animation, the non-realistic animation.
Not even just that. Think about like prop wise, like God damn,
absolutely.
That whoever make these props, that dude had to have been paid.
Man,
yeah,
because there's some good ones in there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So then
the door opens.
Yeah. Oh no. Then.
Oh no. Then he comes at the end of the day. He's closing up everything. And
which is crazy that there's no other staff members there.
Yeah, I'm not fucking doing that shit by myself.
Do that.
Yeah, no, hell no.
Not a janitor, not nobody. Fuck that shit.
Heck no.
But he's closing. He seems like he's done this for a while, but he's closing. And,
it's routine.
And here's something out of the ordinary, and it's the doorknob like trying to open, and he kind of goes up close,
staring at it,
and he just stands there and stares like. I don't know who really
why
does.
Are you still
and I get that, because that's an old thing, used to portray like fear in a way, like
shock,
like you can't move kind of deal.
People do get
frozen with fear.
Yes.
I can tell you, I've never been frozen with fear, but I've never been in a position that's that scary that I feel like I would be. I don't know.
Ignore it. So like if there was an entity or whatever, like act like I didn't hear it, so they can't feed off my fear or something. I don't know.
They can't hold you accountable for actually acknowledging.
If you just ignore it, it's not gonna be there.
So you're saying if you don't acknowledge it, it doesn't count.
I would have heard it and I'd have been like, no, I'm gonna keep walking.
It's like the play dead theory. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, everybody's getting shot. You just go down.
I mean, look, that's a pretty depressing thing you just said, considering what country we live in.
It is.
Well,
but
fuck. Very relevant to
God damn.
events. But honestly, that's a great way to go, and especially in a ghost situation, if they were real,
I don't know, man.
Definitely gonna.
I feel like if I ran into a ghost, the first thing I would do is run, because I don't know. Like we were just talking about, we don't know shit about ghosts real life.
Okay, and the way it's portrayed in like movies and stuff constantly is that they don't even react until you act scared about
No,
things.
see, but the
So
thing
if
is,
you just ignore it,
but
they'll just go,
the way ghosts are portrayed in movies is inconsistent because it depends on the movie, and then it depends on the situation in that same movie. Like we were talking about in Casper, this idiot can fly through walls and stuff like that, but at the same token, he has a problem doing like the remedial shit. Like, what are the rules here?
True.
Like,
Yeah,
what are this?
I
saw this dude
boundaries?
shapeshift into a pillow, right? But somehow you can't like do random shit. Like the ghostly trio, his uncles get sucked into a goddamn vacuum cleaner.
Oh, yeah.
They can't just get out of the goddamn vacuum cleaner,
right? Yeah.
Like they rode a ghost horse when they were introduced. We can't like there's ghosts don't have like any consistency to what they're supposed to do.
Vacuum cleaners,
but is it? Because they got out eventually. We just didn't see it happen.
True.
So what the fuck happened? I don't know, man.
Yeah, and
it's pretty consistent that ghosts don't respond until you start screaming or running.
I don't know, man. It
they don't do
depends on the
anything.
movie.
They just stand there and look scary until you do something.
I have seen enough ghost movies that I know that ghosts will just straight up attack.
But I think in the movies they do need that response thing. That's what creates that.
Well, you also got to think in a lot of those
interaction.
situations, the person sees the ghost doesn't see the person. So it'll be like the person will walk into a room and they'll be like, "Huh," and the ghost will be like, look over like, "Oh shit, there's a person here."
That's what I'm saying.
Time to get my scare on.
If you don't react and just act like it's normal,
Man, fuck
I
that
feel
shit.
like when it goes situation, you maybe have more
You
chance
know what?
of surviving because they're not feeding off your fear.
Do you know what this sounds like? What you're saying?
What?
Jurassic Park. When they're like, a T-Rex's eyesight is so bad that if you just stand still, they can't see. I was like, how the fuck do you know that?
That's not what I'm saying. It's not if I stand still, they won't see me. If I stand still,
No,
and act
I'm not
like
saying.
everything's
No,
normal,
I'm not saying this exact. I'm saying the logic in it of itself. Like we have no data on ghosts to say that. So it's like that they did the same thing. They were like, yeah, Tyrannosaurus Rex's eyesight. It's like all you have is bones, my nigga. Like, what are you doing?
How do you
know
get that from that?
How do you know?
Well, I mean, if you
don't
have recreated the monsters already,
you don't know.
They know that.
You don't know. They don't know shit about dinosaurs. I feel like all the stuff they feed us is made the fuck up.
How they roar and growl.
Were there even dinosaurs? I mean,
Well, it's like you, but even like if you have these bones, it doesn't matter. You have these bones, and I believe
bones could be animals.
But I'll believe that. I believe that. I'll grant it that dinosaurs roam the earth. But based on those bones, you don't know shit.
No. Based on those bones, honestly, they just kind of theorize and recreate what an animal.
And that's what I'm saying. Like you don't know shit.
Wait.
It's just an animal. Well, dinosaurs were just animals.
What is a dinosaur? Right.
They're
That's
just
what I was
animals.
going to say. What is dinosaurs?
It's like
as
what
opposed to just animals that were maybe large or this and that. They were animals.
Well, it's like what people say. Like the great white shark has never had to evolve because he's a fucking apex predator kind of deal.
Right.
Like I believe. Because my theory of evolution is different than everybody else's. Like, I believe, because people will say, like, people evolved from monkeys. I don't believe that shit because,
I don't.
You know, whatever. But I feel like everything adapts to its environment, right?
Yeah.
So if dinosaurs, in the way we think of them, existed, they would be crocodiles and alligators and Komodo dragons and shit now because they had to adapt to a different environment.
Right.
It just makes sense to me.
Right.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I'm not a scientist and I'm not going to argue with a nigga just because he got a degree. But at the same time, I think sometimes you be full of shit.
Honestly, yeah, I think they just all agree. Yeah, that's what
that
it
makes
must
sense.
look like.
Yeah.
Sure.
So this nigga get caught in his ghost. The door opens. He finally like freaks out a little bit and he starts trying to run, and he can't get out. He throws a chair at the window. He was like, "Sorry, mister, whatever, but I got to get out of here." And he throws the fucking chair. But he didn't even throw the chair hard enough to hit the window anyway. But the chair stops in midair and comes back at him. See, I was like, at first, the first time I saw this, I was kind of like, is this bullshit? You know what I mean? Like, are people still here and they can see it? You know what I mean? I didn't know. But then there's also a scene like later that kind of freaks me out with that involves him that makes me question things. But so he does that. He runs into the door opens and he runs into it, which is
the creepy door. You ran into the creepy door that opened by itself.
Yeah, you don't do that.
Locked door.
Ever. I don't care what else.
You
don't go there.
I've seen enough horror movies to know that you don't go upstairs or downstairs.
Then he says, "I'm an idiot."
Yeah, he was like, "God damn it, Karen! Why are you in here?" His name was Karen.
He did.
Well, I think it's probably Karen, but it sounded like he said Karen.
It did sound
but
like
then
that.
we see him scream, and then Ghostbusters logo. My thing is, what the fuck happened to him?
Okay, spoiler alert, he comes back later.
Yeah, but that's
alive and fine.
And when we get to that, I'll tell you why it kind of makes me feel like at the beginning kind of like I was iffy about it, and I feel like writing wise they didn't really think that part through.
Yeah. No, they didn't. They kind of like they dropped it and picked it back up. Like maybe we can just get that kind of forgotten. There wasn't a good. Lazy to make there wasn't a good. There wasn't a good explanation. But in a way, it worked. We were able, I feel, to get past it. It's like, okay, whatever happened, we got out of there.
It wasn't too relevant in a general way.
I don't know, man,
but
because we get to
bejeebers out of them.
We get to Kristen Wiig as Aaron something. I forgot already.
I don't remember the last name.
But she is awkward at best, which she always is in pretty much every movie she's in. And I love Kristen Wiig, but she's up for tenure at this college
University,
at Columbia,
which is a real university.
Question: is tenure what it sounds like? 10 years?
No.
Okay,
but it might have been based off of that. Tenure just means like teachers.
You kind of blew my mind a little bit, though.
I mean, that's what I always thought.
It may be a root word.
Because I know I've heard of like teachers, especially only teachers. Now that I think about it, like when you mention tenure, it really does kind of go to teachers and professors at colleges and stuff like that. And then that's just, I think, like job security.
Yeah, it pretty much means that this is your job for life unless you decide not to.
Or unless something crazy, horrific happens.
Yeah. And that's only in latter years.
Yeah.
Before tenure, mid-tenure, you
were tenured,
it don't matter what
and you would hear it happen because like shit would happen. They'd be like, well, he's a tenured professor here at such and such at Harvard, and you'd be like, that means that he is
lifelong,
essentially protected from fucking anything.
Yeah. So they got, this is your job. Period. Long as you want it. Yeah.
That's
And so you have to, and I'm not sure if it has something to do with it could have been, if you work 10 years, you get tenure.
Or maybe there was, I do think that probably is what it has to do with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause I was like,
I don't know that that's the case today, but
it's, to me, it sounds that way. It sounds like it's more like if you've been here a certain amount of years, you get put up for it because that's what they kept saying. Yeah. You're up for tenure. So it's like you have to meet a prerequisite and then you get to
and obviously
interview.
Time is part of it, and then there are other things that would get you to that point.
But she's up for tenure, and her boyfriend introduced her to this lady who's a professor who's
that wasn't her boyfriend.
Yeah, it was. He was trying to. He was a.
He's an asshole. He's a complete asshole. Yeah. So she meets up with this dude, and he's a Magoo nigga, so it don't really matter. Like, but you can see it. Like, he's clearly that dude that like girls like her would date in this situation or whatever. Right. And he's trying to introduce him to somebody, and I'm not sure why because they never really say why particularly. Like if it was important,
she's supposed to be somebody big in the scientific.
And she's kind of an asshole too. It's Elizabeth Perkins,
and it's probably somebody that he knows that she. Yes, it's probably
I never watched Weeds.
Who she knows? Who he knows? She idolizes or whatever.
Well, it is. She goes, "Oh, I'm a big fan," and then she talks down to her the whole time, and it's really fucked up. And it is. We mention the fuck?
What?
Did somebody tap on that door, or am I tripping in my earphones?
You're tripping.
I've been drinking.
You heard something else.
Scaring me. Shoot.
But anyway, so it's like we are talking about ghosts. So. It's Elizabeth Perkins, and she's being a bitch, and so she leaves, and she says something about superstitions. She goes, "Cross your fingers," but she was like, "But that's crazy. I don't really believe in that." And then Elizabeth Perkins like, "Well, actually, studies show that if you believe in something, it can actually affect the outcome." So she was like, "Oh, well, I better not step on any cracks. Whoa, I don't want my mama's back to break." And she was fucking, so she's walking all gingerly. It's fucking hilarious. I love it.
So awkward.
I love Kristen Wiig, man. She is fucking hilarious to me.
And then she turns to the guy,
and she pulls
Elizabeth Perfect. She's like, "You know her? You know her, huh?" He's like, yeah. But he wouldn't say, "Oh, yeah, that's my girl."
No. Before she walked off, she goes in to kiss him, but then just like goes down and kisses his shoulder.
Yeah, because he didn't
return it.
Yeah.
What a dick, dude. Fuck this guy. Yeah. So she's like, basically, she goes back to her classroom. She's prepping for a lecture, I guess. And then this dude comes in, And he's just like, oh, yeah, this is your book. And she's like, oh, I never wrote a book. And she's like, no, this is your book. This is your picture. And she's like, oh, that is me. And it kind of goes on for a long
it's a
time.
Book about,
Ghosts.
some crazy paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
And so she's at a prestigious university.
She was like,
and this is
it was a joke. He's like, the book reads at first, this is not a joke.
But that's what I'm saying. This scene, and maybe because we watched the extended version, but it felt like this scene kind of went on a long time with her being like, oh, I never wrote a book. And he's like, oh, you did? No, I didn't. Yeah, you did. No, I didn't.
Yeah,
you did.
I think in the other version,
It's
went
cut.
straight to the picture.
Yeah, I think it was just a picture because this shit went. I was like, okay, wrap this shit up. This bit is not working to me.
Yeah.
Well, we did watch the extended version.
Yeah, just so everybody knows, we did watch the extended version. You should watch it though. It's good.
Yeah, it is. It's worth
But so
watching.
she finds out about the book. She goes to confront. She actually goes to look it up though.
Well, okay. This is the same guy that was complaining about his mansion. That's why he came to her.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. He
That's
worked.
the guy who owns that mansion. The
haunted mansion.
He owns it, or did he work there?
No, he owns it.
Okay. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, that's what happened.
So then she goes to her office, and
her old buddy's office.
I thought it was her office.
No. She went into her office. This is when Sodom Noomsi comes in there.
Sweet brother Noomsi.
Yeah, he's the dean or whatever of the college, and that's when he's talking to her.
He also plays Tywin Lannister in Game of Thrones. He's in a lot of shit.
He's in a lot of stuff.
He's in a lot of shit.
But
and he's always a bad motherfucker.
Bad. So
and not in the Samuel
he's
L.
talking
Jackson
to her
way.
about and he was like clowning her like, oh, your outfit, and just
she does look stupid as fuck.
But she's trying to cover up because she looked. Oh, what happened was she looked up online to find out how he got her information about the book, and found out that there was a whole
it was on Amazon. They were selling it again.
They were selling it, and then she went and found the website where her ex partner friend, who she wrote the book with, was putting that stuff out there. So she was like shocked and traumatized in the moment because it doesn't look good to the credible science community.
Yeah. Okay, because that helps, because I was like, I wrote in my notes, why is she hiding the book?
Yeah.
But then I guess that makes sense now.
She looked like a lunatic.
Yeah. But so she eventually goes to confront Abby, and this is where we get literally the greatest character in this entire movie, which is Kate McKinnon as Holtzman.
Holtzman.
Yeah.
She is fucking amazing, man. I love Kate McKinnon. Gosh. I love her on Saturday Night Live. I loved her in that show Friends from College. It's a fun show. Yeah. You should watch it. It's Fred Savage, Keegan Michael Key.
Oh, really?
Colby Smothers. It's a fun show. She plays in she was in The Avengers as Agent Maria Hill. She was also in How I Met Your Mother as Robin. So she's good, but it's a fun show. You should check it out when you get time. The seasons aren't that long, so it's not bad.
Okay. Oh well.
Okay.
But anyway, yes. So
onto the movie. She goes to Higgins Science Institution. It looks like, but it's like a.
Did you look it up to see if it was real or not?
No,
I didn't either.
Yeah, no, it's not.
I'm just gonna assume it's fake.
The guy's name was Higgins.
Higgins.
Yeah, the guy's name was Higgins. But it's
Higgins.
It
sounds like a fake name.
Bootleg.
Well, it's funny to me because it's like, okay, she is Columbia.
Yes.
And then you go to this one. It's like, to me, it's like when movies do that, like, schools in the hood thing.
Yeah.
Because there's just two dudes outside of this college fighting. I'm like, that's not how college works. It's just not.
Oh my gosh, it's like high school, but it's college.
But it's college. It's so stupid. It's like, what is this? Dangerous Minds? What the fuck are we talking about?
A community college.
This segment of the movie about this college is like whole movies that stupid stuff happens, like Old School. Or
for sure. For sure.
Or Community.
I would say don't ever try to watch Revenge of the Nerds now, because it does not hold up. There's rape and it's bad, and it's so terrible that we used to love that shit.
But that movie was so good back then.
Yeah, man. Growth hurts.
Yeah.
Growth hurts, man.
All right, so she's there. She's trying to talk to Abby, who is Melissa McCarthy, and she's like, while you've been doing this, we have been continuing this, work, yada, yada, yada. And then, of course, she meets Holtzman, she already starts.
She crazy.
She's
an out there character.
I love her. I just love everything
she's not afraid to really go all the way.
And that's the thing. Like, I think at this point, Kate McKinnon hadn't been in any movies.
Yeah. I don't
so,
think so.
but this being, if this was her first, she did. She went balls to the wall. She was like, fuck it, let's go. Yeah. Let's go. If you want the crazy, I will bring it 10 fucking fold. And she does. It's so good.
It is. I love her. I love
fun,
this
man. It's just fun. It's just good fun.
So she's trying to convince her
to take the book down.
To take the book down and all the stuff about it. And she's like, no, we're. And then finally, she finds out. How does she find out?
What?
About the guy at the man. Oh, she tells her.
She tells her.
Right. And then she's like, what? You gotta take us over there.
Yeah, because she does say like, oh, how did you find out about the book kind of deal? And she was like, yeah, some guy came in here telling me that he found me because of this book, and his house is haunted or whatever. And she was like, what? There's a haunted house? Holy shit, lead with that. Let's go.
Right, yeah, basically. And so basically she's like, you gotta make this introduction. She's like, okay, if I do, will you make
You gotta take the book down.
She was like, okay, I'll toy with the notion of possibly doing it. So they go meet him. So they meet the guy who did the tour guide. He's across the street from the house. He won't even go over.
And this is what I'm saying. His demeanor in this scene is like weird.
Calm.
Because first I was like, that nigga's a ghost. Like, he's the ghost. He's the ghost because he was the way he was talking. He was like, "Oh, you're here, yes."
But he was standing across the street. I think he was trying to be cool, and you can kind of see in that next scene when Ed Bagley Jr. comes. It finally
this dude though, this had me dying because he was like, "Yeah, Ed Bagley sent me here," and she was like, "What?" He was like, Ed Bagley's been dead for over 20 years. And he was like, then who the fuck is that? He was like, oh, that's Ed Jr. I was like, man, look, motherfucker. You knew who I was talking about when I said it. Like, don't fucking do that shit.
And then that's when he basically clowns him. He's like, yeah, he called me. And he said, he's like, and he soiled himself. He's like, I did not. He's like, because he said, I soiled myself.
And then she was like, can I get a sample of that soil?
She's like, I would love to get that.
Let's bring it back to the lab. That's pretty gross, though, by the way. That's fucking gross. But yeah, so they go in. He throws him the keys, and he's just like, you're going to die. And it's like, I thought he was a ghost.
I know. Like, why would he say that if he didn't die?
First time I did.
Yeah, because I was like, but that's what I mean. It feels like a wasted opportunity because we never hear what happened to him or anything.
Yeah, if you're going to do all that, you should have just let him run out in that scene instead of look like he was going to be out.
That's what I'm saying.
Now we have to try to assume.
Because him saying you're going to die when he didn't doesn't really make me feel like there was any real danger there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or scared the crap out of him.
They dropped the ball with that. They should have made it so
because basically when we last seen this dude, he was hanging from a broken staircase and through to the basement, and all of a sudden all we saw was like ghost cam, and he was like screaming, and then we get Ghostbusters logo. We just assumed like this nigga got eaten by a ghost or whatever ghosts do.
Yeah, but no, it turned out to be live. So he doesn't even explain to anybody,
how
he got
out
like this. Or
they didn't even do that.
Just a short
they
explanation
even like him
or
say,
something.
yeah, if it wouldn't have been for this, or something like that.
Exactly. All we know for sure is that he soiled himself.
I would digress to that. They kind of dropped the ball.
I wish I would have known how he got out because I feel like it was important a little bit at the bare minimum.
Absolutely.
No, it's a lot of boring. You started off with that big scene for what?
Right.
Yeah, it was. It's the opener.
Well, for what was to get the idea that there are ghosts. So,
but then putting him back in there, there would be no need for him. You would just need the
other guy.
You know what crossover I need to see? Ghost and Ghostbusters. I would love to see the Ghostbusters just get Patrick Swayze mid like pottery, ghost pottery. I hate that movie. So much.
Gosh. Anyway, so they go. So now they all go. The girls go over there into the mansion. So they're just walking through. They got she's got her little
thingy
detector.
Yeah, there's a lot of science words in this movie, and I don't be knowing what the fuck they talking about.
I mean, some of it, like
I think they meant it to be
ridiculous,
over the top.
Yeah.
But I say that about anything, like even like Star Wars, Star Trek, anything sci-fi. You just start saying shit like, transmogrifying teleporter. You be like, transmogrifying teleporter.
What's funny about that is
I don't know what the fuck these niggas talking about.
The Kevin character later when he starts saying some we're gonna do the physicality of the and then he's like, I'm talking like you guys.
Yeah, no, yeah.
And we have not met Kevin yet.
I know, I just had to say that because it's funny because
It is funny.
that's how if you think the average person, that's what they're hearing. It's just a bunch of mumbo jumbo.
A bunch of words.
Yeah.
That's every time they started doing it, I'm like, science.
Science.
So they're walking in, and then, they got the little detector thing, and she's like, yeah, well, does it work? Blah, blah, blah. She's like, well, we don't know because we never had any actual activity, but this is what we're using. They're going. And then that door, it's Erin, of course, is left behind. And the first thing
she's not left behind. She's just walking slow. She's behind them.
She steps in the goo.
Yeah.
She slips in it.
She
almost bust her shit right after Kate McKinnon was like, are those shoes comfortable or some shit like that? She was like, do you like walking in the shoes? She's like, how is it walking in the shoes? She goes, it hurts.
She's like, and she's like, is that the
she's like, she said, tell everybody what it's like wearing the tiniest bow tie.
It's like they really got across that she was really uptight.
Yeah. And she was initially because she's like, this is all bogus, this is dumb, whatever. Although
because she was trying to separate herself from it for the job.
Yeah. And so they're going through. They notice that locked door or whatever,
right?
And
with an actual bolt lock on it,
yeah.
And it just opened. It just opened.
It just opened. I look at it, and the lock is on there.
Yeah,
still
they even pulled on it.
Yeah,
the lock is still on there.
I know, even when it opens, the lock.
And she was like, so the door opens. They're just like, holy shit, the door opens, and then she was like, oh, you guys are
starts going crazy.
because she's like. Erin is like, oh, you guys are fucking with me again. No, this isn't funny. They're like, we didn't do any of this shit. There's no goo. We didn't open that door. And then the thing starts going like ape shit, like you said. The little thing starts spinning. It looks like a cotton candy machine thingy. And then like a ghost comes out, like a legitimate fucking ghost. Yeah. And they're like, holy shit, like there's a ghost. And she's like, I'm gonna try to talk to it. And he's like, all right, be cool.
Like, she looks nice.
Be cool.
Like, nah, she looked real crazy.
Nah, she looked fucking crazy. She had her head down. She looked like she was ready to murder every single person in this room.
And so as the character Holtzman would say it, she was like, she ejected ectoplasm all over.
Oh my god, yeah. So she does. She vomits the ecto goo all over fucking Erin. And I felt so bad for her. I was like, ew, man. Who wants that shit? Who wants that noise?
No, she decided to try and reach her hand out and touch a menacing-looking ghost. Like,
yeah, because somebody told her to. They were like trying to contact with her.
I
like, think she wants to talk to me.
She's like reaching her hand like she wants to shake her hand.
I'm sorry. Under no circumstances, if I see a ghost, vampire, Frankenstein monster, werewolf, am I going to try and communicate?
But we could talk. Shovel in my hand. You want to talk? We could talk. But moving forward, yeah, she projects ectoplasm, the paranormal ectoplasm all over Erin. That's her name.
Yeah.
And so after this, they make a video. They're all excited. They're like, whoa, we saw a ghost. We caught it on video and stuff like that.
Right.
And, they post it, and it gets out. It gets views. And I guess Erin's institution, the place she works at, finds out about that.
She goes and they call her in, right?
Yeah,
because she was getting ready to go. She knew she was having that meeting. He's like, "Yeah, so when we consider." People for tenure. And she's like, yes, I accept. I'm going to take the tenure. And he's like, when we do, like, he's like, let me be clear. I'm not offering you tenure. The next thing you know, you see her walking out with her box, like
she's people who got the plant inside of her box.
I always get this guy and Bill Nighy confused because they look alike to me. Bill Nighy is a dude from Underworld.
Nighy?
But that's his name, Bill. Oh, he was in Underworld. He played. He was in the Pirates movie as.
Him and who? You get mixed up. Sodom Nimsy?
Yeah, these two dudes. I get them confused because they just look like two old ass white dudes.
I don't know.
It's until they talk because Bill Nighy has a very specific way of talking. Like if you'll see him,
I know you're talking about. No.
I get them confused. They just look like two old white dudes. They both have the same hair.
All old white dudes look the same.
This guy, yes. I know because he's got a certain. He always looks very.
He looks scary,
menacing.
He should be in a scary movie
because he's always been in stuff or been really bad. creepy dad.
He looks creepy. What the heck? He scares me just in this movie.
So she's walking through the hallway with her box and trying to play it off with everybody. Yeah, I'm moving, just in case anybody gets panicked out because my office is empty.
Yeah, she's making different excuses as she walks down that hallway.
Yeah, the whole way through.
She's having the walk of shame.
And then she sees her boyfriend and she was like, hey, and he just pretends like he doesn't see her. He's looking at this fake map bullshit.
She's like, yeah, I've been trying to figure that map out too.
Like, that's so messed up.
This is all jacked up. I was like, so then she ends up going over to the office there to tell them to back to the school where what's her name? What was her name?
Abby.
Mm-hmm. and Holtzman, and she's like picking up this thing. I got fired, and they're like, "Hold up, don't throw it."
Yeah, she was like, if you throw that, it's literally going to turn your body inside out. Don't fucking touch that shit.
Like, what is it? Why does it make you?
Why do you have that right there?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about why it's here. But no, she does. She ends up putting it down. She tells him, she's like, hey, I got fired because of this fucking book and the video. She was like, yeah. But on the bright side, people are saying good things. And she was like, look at this comment. And she goes, ain't no bitches about to hunt no ghost. She's like, no, not that one. Not that one. And that shit had me dying. I had to write it in my notes. It's right there. Ain't no bitches go hunt no ghosts. I was like, yo.
Oh my god.
But then they tell her
hilarious.
basically they're just like, we can do this. Like, we can figure this shit out. Blah blah blah. And then
I put science jargon.
There's a lot of science talk here
then
too.
She goes to try to get more money from the
but the institution.
School.
And I love it because the I guess the dean or whatever. He's like, I forgot your department existed. And he's just an a-hole. He's just like, nah, F you, flipping the bird.
Oh, yeah, because she was like, I have 2 words for you. And he was like, oh, what is it? You're fired? He's like, no, he's going to say suck it. And he was like, no, he's not. And he's like, suck it. And he was like, oh, he is. He was like, yeah.
And he's like, oh, what are these birds?
He's whistling pretty good. That bird call is pretty dope. It's pretty nice.
He was terrible.
Yeah, he's a
then they
fucking
go
asshole.
out. So then she's like, fine. Now they're getting put out. They got all the stuff. And she's like, yeah, we need to hurry up before they come get this equipment, try to get this equipment that is not ours.
He comes out with a bat.
She's like, I thought this was yours. It's like, well, no, it belongs to the school. And then he comes out with a bat.
Yeah,
like,
he got flip-flops on. He looks like he's on vacation.
Shirt and some shorts. And he's like, wait, come back with that useless...
that useless junk is property of the school or whatever the fucking case. Yeah. But it's like, so they do this thing. We get to Patty. She sees this ghost in the subway because she's following that weirdo dude. Well, because he comes up to her and he was like, yeah, the service class will be the last to be murdered in the fucking coming apocalypse.
So enjoy your extra time.
And yeah, he was like, okay, you fucking weirdo.
And then he goes, she sees him through her little camera thing go into...
He walked on the tracks.
Yeah, he went on the tracks and went deep in there, and she's like going out there, which, I'm sorry, for real.
Nah, you're on your own, buddy.
Ain't no black person, definitely no black woman about to go walking out there. She would have been like, okay, I'm going to call somebody, but
yeah, you on your own
at that point. I'm not going over there. So this is where you know it was all white people who wrote this. But she goes over there, and then she sees we see that LED blue light box right there. And then all of a sudden some creature, she sees a form and she's like, hey, you ain't supposed to be over here.
Bro, that shit was blue and flickering and like halfway transparent. Like, who the fuck are you talking to, lady?
I'd have been like, you know what? Not my business.
You do whatever you need to do, sir. Because it was kind of stupid that she tried to like interact with it. You saw it. We all saw the same shit.
Yeah,
I hate when I see that in movies.
Yeah,
though.
it is kind of dumb.
Because you can't say that she saw it different than what we saw it.
Like when you
wouldn't make sense.
When somebody sees somebody murder someone and you see the person yell like, "Hey, I'm gonna call the cops."
And you're like, no, you're going to die. Like, right now. Sorry.
You just brought attention to yourself. Good job.
There's like, it even is. I think there's like a scene in like, I think it's American Werewolf in Paris or one of those where the dude's just like, hey, you. And it's like, that's a fucking werewolf, man. Come on, dude. You can't just talk to people like that.
And then like everybody, but what I have discovered by a lot of the viral things that have happened over these last several years, that there are certain people, we won't call their
white,
who will so entitled, be so quick to be telling people what they can and cannot do.
It's true.
And it's like, y'all brave or stupid or both.
So Patty sees this ghost. It freaks her the fuck out. The Ghostbusters squad, as we know it so far, is trying to find a place. They get to this
headquarters.
They get to the firehouse and like, oh, it's perfect. And the lady tells Kristen Wiig what it costs, and she's like, "Fuck you."
She's like, "There's this place above a Chinese."
She's like, "Excuse me, I'm sorry, but then what?"
She's like, "We're gonna need something cheaper," and then she's like, "Do you mind the smell of Chinese food or whatever?"
Oh, yeah.
And apparently the answer was no.
So they end up at the place above the Chinese
Which
restaurant.
still looked like pretty cool, like pretty spacious. Like shit,
obviously
they had enough space to do whatever the fuck they needed to do.
It's like what they make. How poor people live, looking TVs and stuff like that.
No, dude.
Or people who don't have money.
You know what's so crazy?
You got a big place for somebody who doesn't have money.
Every movie does that too, where it's like they'll be like the main character will be like, it's down on this luck, no money, dude, and he has this great apartment. Like even in Spider-Man, they try to make it like Peter Parker's apartment was shit. That apartment was nice.
Right?
Like fuck you, dude.
Well, see, again, we're going by some people's standards. So to
that was
them,
New York.
No, I'm talking about some people's standard, meaning
people who
it's like we live in houses and
they'd
stuff.
be like,
so if you live
oh
in
no, this guy lives in a
apartment,
1-bedroom apartment. The end of the world.
The 1-bedroom apartment, what it would have been now, the price, he wouldn't have been able to afford it all.
Them shits be dope as fuck, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I want some of that. I want some of those. I need to know what those are.
In New York, but
no,
anyway.
I'm not going to New
And
York.
somewhere, and probably quite expensive.
Yes, absolutely.
You're gonna have like 4 roommates for that one
for that one
studio.
bedroom. Yeah, studio for real. But
Okay.
so they move into the place, and then they have they're trying to find a receptionist.
This is where Kevin comes in.
Yes.
Kevin.
That's just played by
Chris Hemsworth
plays
Thor.
sexy.
I literally is like enters Kevin.
Yeah, I put that as like Kevin. Kevin comes for job.
And then my next statement is Kevin is dumb.
Kevin is dumb.
He's so dumb, but
Kevin
it's
is
like
dumb on steroids.
some reason it made him really cute. It made him really cute.
Move this man.
I don't know. I would like a Kevin in my life. I can handle it.
Wow.
Man.
Who doesn't want somebody not hard on the eyes? That's all I'm saying. Stop it.
Move this man. All I'm saying is I'm better.
Don't be jealous.
Look, I'm way more handsome than that motherfucker is.
Anyway,
sorry.
of course you are, honey.
There it is.
You're not Chris Hemsworth.
I don't need to be. I'm black. I already have an advantage.
But anyway, it's funny because Aaron is like salivating
At the bit.
as soon as she sees him. So they're trying to interview him.
And it's just so.
My
this interview
gosh.
is dumb.
It's absurd.
What did he say? Like, what did they say? And he was just like, "Oh, that Michael Hat." Or no, he said,
It's cat.
Is it okay if I bring my cat?
My cat.
And it's like, well, and then Abby's like, well, I'm, allergic, deathly, to cats. And he's like, oh, no. That's
He's a
not
dog.
cat. It's a dog. She's
She's like, but you said my cat. No, his name is Mike Hat.
Michael Hat.
It's short for Michael Hatter.
Michael Hat. No, it was
Michael
Was it
Hat.
Hat? Oh.
Yeah.
I was
Fucking
like,
stupid.
oh my gosh.
I was just like, oh my god. And then he like wipes his eyes, and there's no
Inside
lenses.
the glasses, there's no lenses in his glasses. She's like, I'm sorry, can I just ask why there's no glass in the glasses? He was like, oh, they just kept getting dirty, so I took them.
What a fucking dweeb.
But I love how serious he is about like as he's acting about it. And then they asked about the logos because that was one of the requests that you have logos ready, and he shows them. And I don't know what the first one was.
It was just a ghost with giant titties.
And then he was like, He's like,
no.
And then they're like, what's the problem? He's like, what is?
He's like, well, I can make them bigger.
Is it the boobs? I can make them bigger.
Oh, what is her name? Holtzman. She's like, they used to call me Goat Tits in high school.
And I need a story for that. I need to understand why. I gotta know what that is.
Because you couldn't see them.
I love
that, and I'm guessing that's the joke.
You're probably right. But I love that she is the queen of the random station.
She is so good, man. I don't care.
I would
Kate
be
McKinnon.
bursting out laughing.
And
like,
but it flows.
Say random stuff.
She gets in there as if she's in a regular conversation and says the most
way out
crazy
you don't expect
stuff.
Nothing you expect.
Wifey
It's
behavior,
almost
man.
like she doesn't believe that he's as dumb as he is. She's just flowing with it. Okay, I got you.
But yeah, so it's like they eventually hire him, and he's fucking stupid.
He is
So there's
super.
nothing. He doesn't answer the phones. He hangs up a phone call because he's like, "Oh, that conversation was just bad."
No. But Pat. Oh yeah. And then
the girls meet Patty.
And
Patty
then
comes
enter
in.
Patty. They've been talking about stuff, and all of a sudden, I think she says something. Patty was like, she enters. Something
Well, she was waiting, and they were like, he was like, "Oh, you have somebody waiting."
No, but she said something. That's why they looked over like, okay.
She's like, "I thought this was your waiting room. I saw a magazine on the chair, so
Right.
I just assumed." But she tells them about what she saw, and then they all go down there with that fucking shopping cart of equipment, which is fucking hilarious. And they run into this ghost, and then they make Kristen Wiig try to shoot this thing, and she put
not even tested equipment.
Yeah, this big ass fucking Gatling gun of energy. And she puts that little neck brace on, and she's like, "So you don't die instantly."
She's like, "What's your iron levels?"
Never mind, you'll be fine. It's fucking. So she shoots at this thing. It doesn't really work at first. Then they up the power, and it starts working a little bit. And then the ghost gets hit by a train.
But before that, what happens?
Can you really kill a ghost?
She gets spewed.
The goo.
She gets spewed with the goo.
Can you kill a ghost?
Look, man. I guess.
We don't know
Is that what just happened?
I don't know. Maybe because he was trapped in the thingamajigget, it made him at least corporeal enough to be smacked with a train.
Science words.
Excuse me. Corporeal. Explain.
Let me look it up.
Yeah, look it up. You might be using it wrong.
Because I might be using it in the wrong context. I've heard the word corporeal, and I think I just want to make sure.
Got me there.
Let's see.
You never know how to spell it because I cannot.
I got it right here.
For the life of me.
Relating to a person's body, especially as exposed to their spirit. I don't know what the fuck that.
That did not give me anything like that. That kind of sounded abstract.
Okay, there it is. Consisting of material objects tangible. So corporeal.
Okay.
Corporeal meant he was solid.
High five, nice.
I used it right. Fuck you guys.
Look at him using corporeal. I'm gonna have to practice.
I did
now.
it. I liked it. But yeah, so I think maybe that's what happened because he got hit and we saw like him splatter a little bit or whatever the case may be. So
yeah,
who knows?
Yeah,
who knows, man? Maybe there's something to that. Maybe there isn't.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Maybelline. Who fucking knows, man?
So at this point, Patty decides she's staying. She's intrigued. She's interested.
Yeah.
She ends up coming back, but she's like, we can. She's like, I want to be part of the club.
Yeah, she just decided she's joining.
She was like, I'm joining it.
What? We didn't talk about this. What are you talking about?
No, they're like, well, we're scientists, and she's like, no, I get that. I'm just saying, I know
the city. You guys know science.
She's got a
boom,
car,
boom, boom.
And she's like, and I got a car that you don't got to lug that stuff. That's where Kate McKinnon's like, okay, you're in because they tired of lugging that stuff
because she's the one who has to carry all that shit. So yeah, of course.
That ends up being a hearse because her uncle has a funeral home.
Yes.
So she brings the hearse, and that's how they start getting around. Yep. You guys are going to have to keep leading this now because, that's where I gave up on notes.
Wow. I wish you would just follow through.
But yeah, so basically this is when we get the montage of them testing equipment and shit, and it's pretty fun.
Well, first you get just a quick snippet of the weirdo guy that was at the subway station.
Yeah, he's a fucking weirdo.
Yeah, he's obviously a weirdo. He's walking through the crowd. I guess he's going to a rock concert. So we already know he's going over there. Obviously, there's going to be trouble. He's not doing some good things around here.
No.
And so that's when we get the practice with the back machines, the ghost machines. And then you have then they're watching TV. They see on the news, they invite this Dr. Martin, which
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray, yeah. Yes. And he's the debunker of these things that happen or whatever. So he whatever, debunks it.
Yeah, they ask him if there's any legitimacy to it or whatever.
Yeah.
Because they had a video. Because when they did see that, they had a whole thing, and Holtzman took a video of Christian Wiig, and they were like, yeah, we were, whatever. And then he's like, is there any legitimacy to this? And he's looking like he's thinking, and he's like, hell no. This is a sham. The whole thing
kind of pissed me off.
I know. It's just terrible.
Yeah. And so, there's that. He's a debunker, and
he basically debunks.
They're trying to fight
legitimacy,
this skepticism, basically. And that's kind of one big thing about, this movie, just like the other ones, they're trying to fight the skeptics.
Right.
It's like, what? We're trying to save you.
Right.
We're trying to,
we're trying to help you out.
Yeah. And so, how do they get the information they do to go to the rock concert? Oh, yeah. They get a call.
Yeah. Kevin got the call.
Oh, yeah. What did he say?
He hangs up. He's like, okay. And then
he was like, with saxophone or without saxophone? He said, okay, because he had two pictures or whatever. And he was like, do you like this picture with me playing the saxophone or with me listening to the saxophone?
With his ear onto the saxophone.
Yeah, so basically he does. He's a fucking idiot. And they were like, no, what was the call about? I was like, there's something happening. Some dude said he saw a ghost at this hotel or whatever the case may be.
A theater. It's where the rock concert was.
Yeah, that's what I said.
No, you didn't say that. You didn't say that.
That's exactly what I said.
And so
they make their way down.
They go over there, and they're going like in the like little backstage parts and stuff like that. And they
how the fuck did they get let in with all that equipment? They're not like official in any way.
Well, no, they got let in with the guy. Remember the guy that?
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Stuart
one that met them at the door.
The only thing I can think of immediately that he's in is that guy who was on Austin Powers, and he was like, no.
See, I remember him from Mad TV as Stuart.
Oh, yeah. Look what I can do.
That's the one that's like, what is it?
Stuart.
Yes, but how he would say stuff like, Stuart.
No, he wasn't Stuart. Stewie.
Stuart.
Called him Stewie.
No, his mom called him Stuart.
Stuart. It was.
Stuart.
Or whatever.
Because she'd be like, Stuart.
That's the one that say, let me do it.
Yeah.
Stop.
I want the red balloon.
Yes, that's where he's from. Okay, now, yes.
That was him.
He's hilarious.
Okay, yeah. Wow.
So he's telling them everything. And because when they're walking in, there's this guy, Hispanic guy on a gurney.
He's coming out.
Saying all kind of stuff in Spanish. And then Aaron's like, he said something about chicken feet and flying or something.
She said something stupid. And then you're like, and then fucking, what's her name? Patty was just like, that is not what he said. Like, God. Like, you guys are white as white can be, huh?
I think I remember.
So then they see that, and then they're like, and so he's telling them, he's like, yeah, the poor thing, whatever it was, it threw him all over the place. And then he said something about him screaming. People say I have a really,
really
shrill,
disturbing
scream.
So they split up. One of them finds another one of those glowy boxy thingies.
The devices.
Then Patty runs into a mannequin that comes to life.
And that was so creepy. I hated that. Because first of all, it reminds me of Silent Hill.
Yeah, with the sexy nurses. I got you.
Oh, I don't know.
It just looked so creepy. No, not with the nurses. There was a scene with like mannequin, like people parts.
Ew.
And they were moving.
I just remember the sexy nurses.
That was in it too, but there was actually mannequin or like people parts that came to life in that.
Oh my gosh, I can't.
I kind of want to watch that movie now.
I want to see it because it's hard to look away.
Y'all can just watch it. We are not doing it.
We're gonna do it for one of these challenges. We'll
figure it out. And you can't just be ducking out just because of something you don't like. That's not how it works.
It's not just something I don't like.
You better watch out for Halloween.
Well, we'll be fine.
I told you, you're gonna need a a stand-in for that month.
No,
you got to do it. You got to do it.
No, I'm gonna have nightmares.
It's either you're with us or
you're
not.
We'll be fine. You'll be fine. We'll figure it out.
Whose side are you on? All right. So anyways, so the mannequin, it kind of they shoot it and it explodes, and all of a sudden a ghost dragon.
Yeah, what's up?
I think it was more like a gargoyle than a
dragon.
Oh
look,
yeah.
It looked like a dragon.
A dragon.
Gargoyle. I mean, either way, it goes from possessed mannequin to green gargoyle, and that's when shit starts coming. It starts going to the crowd and during this generic ass rock concert
with
the same fucking song, one riff,
yeah,
words that don't mean anything.
Yeah.
He's like, he was having words, didn't have any words in this song. But yeah, so you just going, and then even like the effects dude is like, "That's not mine," and then all of a sudden they still don't see nothing going on. The Ghostbusters show up, they start doing shit, I guess. They're telling
the lead singer, he started saying something about the Satan himself and this and that.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, Satan himself is blessed.
Typical rock star.
As according to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Because they don't fucking know the difference.
Yeah, that's how it looks.
No, they know other people who are not into it don't know the difference.
That too.
Probably
That's
think
what I mean.
it's true.
Yeah.
They're just like, yeah, everybody who likes rock and roll worship Satan because one guy did that once, and now everyone does that.
It's a handful, but
yeah, but even then, it's not nearly enough to be like that's what rock and roll guys do.
It is nearly enough because of the '80s and doing things. The thing was about rolling the records backwards, and they
but
said
that's
stuff.
still the minority.
But it's a cult thing. It just happened,
that's
and
still
now
the minority. It's not the majority.
But the notoriety of it is the majority.
Yeah, but it's not the majority.
It's a good handful.
It's just like people can look at some other things and say, "Oh, all blah 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 do this."
Well, whatever. Yeah. Anyway, there's Abby comes out and she's basically like, "Hey, everybody, you're all gonna fucking die." No one's listening to her because they think it's all part of the show because they're stupid, and that's how these things go. And then she was like, "Oh, don't worry, I'm gonna do it." And she stage died. Well, she doesn't even die. She just kind of falls back a little bit, and they fucking start carrying her. And she's like, "All right, watch the rings." Ha, joke.
Yeah. And then
she said because she's being carried by people who are touching her, so she's like, "Watch the rings." Which it's supposed to. I guess it implies that someone's trying to like put their finger up her ass or whatever. Yeah,
bro.
And then that's when Patty's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do it." And then she
just jumps.
Okay. She jumps.
I'm gonna be honest,
but
she's a big person with heavy equipment on her. I'm not gonna catch her like that either.
She jumped.
They did move. they did move.
And then she said, "I don't know if it was a black thing or a lady thing, but I'm mad as hell." But like I said, in their defense, she jumped.
But then she gets up and they turn around and then the thing gets on her shoulder.
I love how they're trying to tell her like, look, you gotta
she's like, don't say it. Don't
say nothing. But I'm just trying to no.
See, she did the right thing. She tried to act like I'm just gonna go. Because if she started acting scared, he would immediately drag her away. But she was like, you know what?
We don't know that for sure. That thing has just been flying around all this.
No,
she don't know that, but she knows that it's like the dog theory. You know what I mean?
That shit don't work.
I'm telling you, it's like the same thing about the wolf that walked past me, and I just went around a car, and I was like, "Sup?" And it stopped and looked at me. And I swear it looked like a wolf. I swear it did.
I was about to say the same thing. Wolf.
It was a really large, and it's like large and skinny. Like it looked like a wolf, kind of with husky fur. I swear. Oh my gosh! If I would have taken video, you would have been like, "Oh shoot, that might be a wolf."
Or it could have been a coyote.
No. It was big. Whatever. You guys don't have to believe me.
you just were running across wolves in these streets.
I swear. Okay, whatever. But
anyway,
they end up catching it. That's the whole thing. They end up catching it, and they're all excited. They got their little contraption. Woo woo.
Which we won't want to move past the part because Tracy said something, and the reason I'm mentioning it because the biggest thing about this whole theme that we're doing this month is that the box office, what do we call it? Bombed.
It bombed,
but it was really a good. They had the best gadgetry.
The gadgetry was so fucking dope.
It was so cool. And it was it definitely was cooler.
I agree.
That kind of stuff kind of felt more realistic.
Yeah.
Well, it was even just the way she did it. Like it felt like because Kate McKinnon brings out the fucking ghost trap.
Right.
It's this canister, which makes a lot more sense than that fucking toaster looking thing. And she puts it out there. She also has a pad on her arm that activates it, so it's not just on all the goddamn time.
Yeah.
Then they put out the things, so you have to step on it. Like it's a process, but it just looks so cool the way it was done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that more. Like I feel like
that she was like the
gadget.
guru,
She was
one.
Yeah.
And she was really good with her. You know, she was into it. And
She was very into it.
Yeah, she was. So that was awesome. And
So
how
yeah, they caught the ghost.
Yeah, they caught it, and then they, you know, they're all excited, and
they're
oh,
immediate-
we forgot the guy when he comes out and sees it.
He screams.
He has the most shrill, ridiculous scream.
It was literally the shrill of a little girl.
It is a disturbing.
Yes, it is a disturbing
disturbing
scream.
scream.
Right? Especially the way he looks, like that threw me off.
Well, yeah, so they catch it, and then basically the government is like, "That's enough of you," and they have a meeting with the mayor.
No. That was after you missed the part. This is where Dr. Martin pays a visit. Dr. Martin comes to their headquarters, and he's sitting there, and he's like, you know, pretty much saying he's skeptical and
You're right.
Stop pretending, and Erin, she's just like, you know, I'm gonna prove it to you, and
Which is weird. She's like real gung ho about it. That it is kind of annoying.
She's so ready to prove people wrong.
People to know. And,
so she doesn't look like a crazy.
That's why
person.
she couldn't be Batman, man. Batman don't give a shit. He don't need people to know. He knows what he do.
Well, no, but she lost her job, so
yeah,
she
feels like she's a legitimate scientist, and she's like, this is real.
I get that. All I'm saying is she didn't think about the team.
No, she didn't.
No,
and Abby's like, girl, please, you know.
But she ended up stepping on that thing and
anyway.
She lets the demon out,
and the demon comes out and pushes Miss Dr. Martin,
played by Bill Murray.
Yes, we already confirmed that.
Did you? I missed that
when you stepped out for a second. That's what happened. So we already know that information. That's Bill Murray.
So it takes him out the window.
He died. He's dead.
He's dead.
Yeah.
He's dead. So this is when
the FBI come and tell them to stop.
Yeah, they take him to see the mayor. That's where they take her.
Oh, yeah.
And the mayor is like, you know, it's great. You've been doing this, and we're really appreciative.
But knock it off.
But yeah, that's her exact words.
Yeah. Knock it off.
And she's like, what? It's like, yeah, no, we don't need to create mass hysteria and people panicking, you know.
Which is accurate. They're not wrong in that.
Yeah,
that you
that is valid because we've seen it.
It makes sense, and even that's why Abby was like, you know what? Yeah, as long as we're able to continue to operate, that's fine.
They're like, no, we don't want you to do it either.
Yeah,
it's fucking crazy. So yeah, they basically are told to stop fucking around.
Oh yeah, and then R.I.P. What's his name? Michael Williams. He was one of the agents.
Yeah.
But yeah. And so they go back and they're like, oh, these people, and they're talking about, that's when
well, they're basically like, fuck that, we're still gonna do what we do, and they do more weapons testing, and then
they look at the map and trying to discover like a pattern, and they do find one.
Of course
it's they call them ley lines. Is that what they're
ley lines?
Ley lines.
I guess electrical.
Ley lines, science
energy.
stuff.
Yeah, electrical lines that run through the city or whatever, and they run in like an X pattern. And so they discovered where,
like Kevin said, "Oh yeah, it's an X with a whole bunch of other little X's."
Yeah, and they discovered the pattern, the central part of it where the two lines meet is where this hotel is, which is called Hotel Mercado. I don't know if it's real, probably not, but and so they go and they find.
Well, Patty knows a lot about this. She was like, "Oh yeah, this hotel used to be this before it was,
and before it was a hotel, this and that."
Yeah, all these different spooky things might have happened.
Yeah.
Well, so they go there and they find that weirdo's lair where that's where
they find out he works there.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also that's been the guy who's been doing all this stuff.
Well, before they do that is when the whole thing happens and Abby ends up. Oh, they had already. Yeah, right. They went over there. That's right. And then they catch him trying to let out.
He's in this
all
little.
these,
it's not a real place. It's like a lair. It's like where the pipes and stuff are.
She tries to reason with him, which is fucking stupid. She's like, "Hey, we're all fucking nerds and we're all weirdos," and he was like, "Nah, I'm a little weirder."
And it's true. He decided. Well, at that point, that's when he I guess. Backs up into this machine.
Yeah,
he kills himself because he knows that he's going to become a ghost when he does.
Yeah, basically.
So,
and they think that's it, and they stop him from letting out the stuff, and then Holtzman goes and turns off the thing, and it's like
everything's cool.
Everything's cool. The police and all them people come again, and they thank him, and then they take him out. Like, okay, so yeah, we're gonna have to go ahead and say that you're a fraud and that nothing happened and yada yada. And they're like, what?
Yeah. And well, another thing is that I actually missed when she did it, but she grabs a book from the.
Yeah, I missed it too. I missed it too. I didn't see her grab the book.
Yeah.
Or the diary or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know why I missed it?
Okay, so let's continue. Okay, let's be honest. You talk a whole bunch, and I'm distracted easily.
That's fair enough.
I'm with you.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's your fault, though.
Your distraction.
That's your fault.
No, it's your fault.
No, you can easily just ignore me. That's your fault.
So all of a sudden you just be like, "Hey, casually," and I'm the person. I fall into
She can't
it.
go out. Yeah, she's like, "Oh, okay, we're talking."
Yeah,
That's your
I
fault.
can't help it.
That's your fault. I'm not in this.
Your fault.
Don't put me in that.
Anyway, so they go back to the whole thing, and she's looking through this book, and she finds his whole
Extensive
extensive plan.
Yeah, it's like a manifesto. Well, because they get arrested and they're told they can't do shit anymore and all that other stuff. And yeah, she finds all his plans and she tells them like, "Oh, hey, this was part of his plan. He let us fucking stop him because he knew that he was going to be possessed. But before she could tell them, because shit happens." They get fucking Abby gets possessed.
Yes, by him basically.
So let's talk about when she does get possessed. So she sees, she goes in the bathroom and she sees. Well, she goes in the bathroom running from when she sees a ghost,
right? Because the doorbell rang. Yeah, and she goes and opens the door and there's nobody there. Yeah, and then she like goes and runs in the bathroom and locks it. Like I'm like, when have we ever known doors to stop ghosts? Yeah, I'm just saying
they stop fires.
Well, I mean, the ghost at the beginning needed an unlocked door to get out, so.
Yeah, but they unlocked it themselves.
But I don't know, man. The rules are fucking ridiculous with ghosts.
When she's in the bathroom, she sees in the pipes under the sink that it kind of oozes goo out there. And this is a weird scene. I don't remember seeing it.
No,
in the regular
I think
version.
this is part of the extended version where she's got all this goo coming out of everywhere.
It's so much.
Yeah, it's out of her ears, out of her nose,
and then she starts doing fucking like exorcist vomiting and goo.
Yeah. And she comes out looking all like
normal-ish,
but not, because when they come out, they're like, "We got your food out here." She's like, "Yeah, she need to eat something. Her sugar probably low. That's Patty." And so when she comes out there and she saying stuff like, "Hello, Patricia," what you call it comes, because he's like, "Hello, Jillian." Nobody calls her Jillian.
No, her name is Holtzman. Yeah.
"Hello, Jillian." And so she's like, "Okay." Then she goes in there, and then all of a sudden she picks up the what is that?
A pipe.
A pipe.
It's literally just a pipe.
And then she goes over to all the equipment that
the proton pack
had, and then she goes and starts going at it and trying to destroy it, and then that's when she's like, "Wait, no, don't destroy it," so they run over there. She throws Holtzman across the room, and then Patty is like, "What? No," runs up. I mean, they getting beat, and then
she said, "The devil is a lie."
Then she takes Holtzman and puts her out the window, and then she's holding her, and Patty's trying to help her, so she's holding her other hand. And what happens? Oh, that's when Kevin comes, and he's like, "I'm gonna go out of here because I'm gonna help you guys. I'm gonna be a Ghostbuster now."
He's in his Ghostbuster suit.
Yeah, he's got his suit. He's like, "I got my suit on," and he goes.
They're like, "Get out of here! Get out of here!" Because the ghost, flying around and stuff like that, and he doesn't even get what's going on.
Well, it feels like the point is he feels like he's being slighted by the whole thing, so he leaves.
So he's out there, and then finally she pulls her back in. They all fall down, and then Patty's on top of Abby, and she slaps her. "Get out of my friend!" She
literally slaps a ghost out of her.
Yeah, he did.
And then the ghost comes out. She slaps her again. After that, she's like, "Ow!"
You got to be sure. You got to get a couple slaps in there.
And so then the ghost comes out there flying around, and then Kevin's out there. He's like, "Look, and I got this motorcycle."
He was like, "I was born to be a Ghostbuster."
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Would you slap the ghost out of your mom?
Yeah.
All right.
I hope so.
Would you slap her again to make sure? I definitely would. I definitely would.
I'm pleading the fifth on that one.
Sorry, Mom.
If I didn't know for sure the ghost was out, I got to get that second one in.
And I guess it's an opportunity that you would never have otherwise.
I'm not going to just slap you just because. But if there's a ghost in you, I got to do what I got to do.
You got to make sure.
So then the ghost is ping-ponging around out there. And then they're trying to tell Kevin, get out of there.
Ping-ponging.
Well, he was.
He was banging off the building.
And he's like...
But that's why this part, now this is kind of where I can say that it kind of gets a little stupid in the writing. Yeah. Because this ghost is like, it feels like this whole thing is this ghost needs a host in order to survive.
Right.
Which we find out later is absolute bullshit.
Right.
But he ends up going in Kevin because he's out there whining about not being a Ghostbuster. Like a little bitch.
Maybe I figure like this guy, the weirdo guy, he's a troll, so he's doing it for fun, I figured.
But there's no way to know that because they don't tell us that. That's the problem I have like with this whole with this
seems
part.
Like that. I mean,
but
later on.
I think
it makes sense because he does say some comments later that make you feel like he's just fucking around.
Yeah.
But it's like
I got a chance to be in this.
Nothing tells us about that
dude.
Because the moment we start this possession, we don't even know who this dude is at all.
Right.
We're not sure.
Yeah.
So it's just weird.
Do we know his name the whole time?
Well, no, she figures. I think Kristen Wiig figures it out because of the diary or whatever.
Right.
But and then it's like Rowan, and she calls him by his name, but whatever. But other than that, like I don't really know. But yeah, so he gets possessed, and he's like, ha ha ha! Now I'm in this buff dude, and I hope he can drive a motorcycle, ha ha ha! And he's like gone. They're like, all right, well, we have to obviously stop that from happening.
Yeah, and that's when they go, back over to the hotel.
The army's there and everything,
now,
right?
They get
by this
fucked
time,
up.
Everything's out now. Because all the police, ghosts, the police and all that. Before they get there, he's over there using them as his little dance entourage.
Yeah, he has a legitimate ass dance party with these dudes. He was like, everyone dancing, they're doing disco and shit. It is fucking.
Can I say it looked like Chris Hemsworth had a little bit of fun there?
Of course he did.
Doing
he had
some dumb moves
because he clearly can't dance for shit. But it is what it is.
Whatever. It's still Chris Hemsworth.
It was great.
Chris Hemsworth.
You couldn't dance, so what?
Are you a little jealous?
Of what?
He doesn't have to dance, really.
I'm getting sick of this. Can't wait till it's my movie.
So he does, and then he gets tired of messing with them. So they get frozen and
whatever.
And
let's talk about the. This is when it cuts to where they're walking down the street and they see the ghost Macy's Day Parade. Yeah, and the balloons are going by like they're doing a little parade, and then the balloon comes back, like it comes.
Yeah, that other balloon.
Crap,
that was creepy.
The whole thing, it was creepy seeing them.
I hate when I see
supposed
stuff
to be like
turn
the
around.
1800s.
I hate when I see like stuff doesn't notice you, and then all of a sudden it just comes back, and it's like, oh hell.
Well, because it's funny, because it's like, the floats go by, the creepy as fuck. Kate McKinnon makes a joke about it, and then they like the one with the top hat comes back like, what the fuck you say? And he looks back like, yo, what the fuck? And then they all start coming after him, and then they pop the majority of them, and then they get caught under the Stay Puff.
Yeah,
good call back for Stay Puff.
Yes. Again, tying it in, making people get the nostalgia. So they're stuck down there, and then
we also did miss that there's a Dan Aykroyd and Slimer cameo.
Yes.
Because Dan Aykroyd won't take Kristen Wiig up.
He's like, I don't go. What did he say?
I'll go to Chinatown or some shit like that.
Past something, I don't go past Chinatown.
She's like, there's literally ghosts running around or whatever.
He was like, I ain't afraid of no ghosts. And I was like, yeah, nice.
Yeah, and then you get
Slimer steals
he steals the
Ghostmobile.
Ghostmobile? Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh yeah. And he's got a lady Slimer?
No,
that's
first,
later.
That's
but
just later. Then it was And so they're on. That's why they're on foot, and then they're all stuck under the Stay Puft dude. And then all of a sudden, Aaron, it starts deflating, and it's Aaron. You see her put her hand in there
with a Swiss Army knife.
It's pretty gross.
Which is a reference from earlier, because that's what Kate McKinnon
she gives her.
She said,
every woman should be protected with a Swiss Army knife.
Yep. She was right.
And so now you get this fight, like where they're fighting off the ghosts, and it's pretty.
I like this one.
Pretty awesome.
I like it.
I like this more than the other movies because it seems like they're like. It makes it more action packed.
Yes.
Well, it ups the ante on it because their proton packs don't just like fire.
They're not doing
now
all
it's
the
like
work.
they're whipping, they're like doing stuff. It's like it's actual things happening.
Before it was like the weapons are just doing all the work. They're
not
really doing anything but pressing a button.
And
I do like this a lot.
Yeah, but I like that they're swinging them around, they're making them hit each other.
It's an awesome scene. It really is.
And then of course pistols. we get Holtzman with the dual pistols. And
yes,
she goes ape shit, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, let's go!"
She did. I mean, she just has.
I love it.
She has to be the badass.
Well, she's the crazy one. Of course, she has to be.
Yeah. So that was cool. It was something creative.
We get that. We get the little ecto wood chipper thingy that Patty uses.
Ecto wood chipper.
That thing where it went through, and when they pull something through it, and it comes out chipped up from the back.
Oh.
Yeah, we see Abby use that grenade. That's only ghosts get fucked up by it.
Like punching with the
thingamajiggy. Yeah, it's a good scene. I like this. I like this scene.
Yeah.
And then
they go back to that hotel and run into the weirdo who still has Kevin's skin. Yeah.
Well, he unpossesses him around this time because he's
he's gonna drop them.
Yeah,
so he's like, I don't need him anymore.
She's like, okay. She's like, let him go. He's like, okay. And then he, shit gets out of him, and then he falls down, and they end up
catching him.
Somewhat catching him. They broke his fall.
They broke his fall, basically. So then from there, he's now not in
you don't see him. He's talking, and his voice is everywhere. So they're like, "Where are you?" Shooting everywhere, and then he's like, "What form would you like better?" And if he turns it into the logo.
Well, because Patty was like something cute and small.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Oh, you mean like this?" And then he does it's just like, "Yeah, that'll work. I can deal with that."
And then he turns into a bigger version of that,
bigger, meaner, ugly.
He looked like a mix between the Oogie Boogie and the
Oogie Boogie. What's that from?
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay. And
I'm the Oogie Boogie Man.
Yeah, he looked like that essentially. It crossed between that and the marshmallow.
Yeah. Fair enough.
It was horrible.
Well, so he does that, and this is once again where it's like the inconsistencies of what he can do because they're firing at him, and he gets put on fire, and instead of changing or whatever, he's just like, no, I guess I'll just stay in this form.
Yeah.
Because this is the part like they basically figure out like, oh, now we have to cross the streams after Kate McKinnon said don't because it'll turn your atoms inside out.
Right.
And so now they're like, we have to cross the streams. But then the cross of the streams doesn't work because the thing is too powerful. But they blow up the car because it's like a nuclear bomb, she says, and it goes into the portal. The portal opens up. But once again, like he doesn't do anything to really save himself. He just stays in this giant form and falls in the portal.
But while he's falling,
he
grabs
so complicated.
Abby. Yeah. On the way down.
Yeah, well, because she saves Patty.
Right.
She's like, fucking out the way. I'll save the day.
And then he takes her, and then that's when Aaron's like, I have to go
get her some rope.
She gets some rope and hooks herself up, and she goes diving in there to get her, and she catches up to him, and then she uses the little whatever thing and shoots his hand, so he opens it and lets her go, and then they, end up coming back up
with Danny Phantom hair.
Yeah.
They go straight. They go straight Danny Phantom. They go into the ghost zone and come out with white hair.
I wonder if that was like what somebody was thinking of.
And they're like, "What is?" Who she's like, "What year is it?" And Kate McKinnon, she's like,
2049,
2040. And they're like, "What?"
A plan is the president.
She's like, "Oh yeah, a plan is the president." She's like, "I'm just kidding. You've been gone for 2 seconds." So then they're the heroes, of course, in that moment.
Kevin comes back eating a sandwich.
Oh my gosh, this motherfucker, man. So he's eating the sandwich. He was like, I helped. I pushed a bunch of buttons, and then the portal opened up. She was like, no, those things are unrelated. And she's like, where did you get the sandwich? He was like, I went looking for you guys in that deli. And it was
Abby.
Abby grabs the sandwich, throws it, and he was like, can I get a little help? Somebody throws the sandwich back.
Throws in some water.
He was like, can I get my drink? And he throws the water, and he was like, also had a muffin. And I was like, I want to see this guy off screen whose job it is just to throw.
Abby, you see Abby looking back, and she's like, "Stop the fuck!" Stop.
It's like, we'll pay you $3,000. All you got to do is throw a few things to Chris Hemsworth.
I want in the movie. I want to know what that guy's whole deal was. When he was like, that guy right there, he's really cool. He gave me all this stuff to throw to him. Like, what is it? Like, what is happening? He just throwing him his water, his muffin, his sandwich back.
But I think that's the reason why the character Kevin is still alive. He's so dumb, but he survives because he's just a he's
oblivious to anything that's going on.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. This dude's an idiot. I don't like it.
But let's see. I mean, it's not really much after that. They're eating at a pub, and then the FBI agent says they're being funded, and so they were able to get the headquarters they wanted, the old fire station.
Yep.
And they had like 2 endings after.
It's
credits.
like 3, man.
Yeah, it was weird. What was the first one?
Well, first we get Patty's uncle, who turns out to be Ernie Hudson.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, hey, I need one of these.
That's the one in the regular theatrical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then we get, we also get Sigourney Weaver as somebody.
She's her mentor.
She's Holtzman's mentor, and they're both kind of crazy in a way.
Yeah.
And they're just talking about weird shit and science words, and no one cares. And then we get
And one that could have been meaningful if they were gonna follow this up with some kind of sequel.
But this movie flops, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but so she says they're. I guess she's listening. Patty's listening on something. And she's
on that little recorder thing that we see at the beginning.
And they're like, they said something about Zool, and that's it.
That was it. I think they were preparing for the possibility of a sequel.
Would have been pretty cool.
Yeah, because okay, well, let's talk about it now.
Yeah,
who's first?
Yeah, because we got to talk about the fact that this was a flop, and this was a flop pre anyone seeing it. To be honest,
well, I mean, yeah, we already talked about that too. Like we know,
honestly,
like it was just a bunch of white dudes
say,
angry that there were a bunch of women doing things.
I could say, especially after watching the previews, I was not excited to see the movie, but
I was because I thought it was going to be funny.
I did too.
The way the previews made it look, it didn't. It looked like it was going to be a forced thing, and it wasn't going to.
I didn't see that.
That's what I thought seeing the previews. But when I watched the movie, it was, I feel like previews fool you, and sometimes they don't fool you.
But I don't think that's what it was.
Well, previews are also pretty bad these days. So.
But not just that; it was hate.
It was
hate.
It's the only thing.
Like they felt like it was being what is it? It was sacrilege to now put these 4 women in the place of this iconic, movie franchise or whatever.
I have a big thing just whenever there's a remake of anything or a reboot of anything.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm
glad what I'm saying. But I was in because it wasn't. They could have just done 4 other dudes and did just
gone younger. Yeah. That's really
just gone younger or whatever, right?
Thing.
But I was impressed that they didn't, and that they did do this, and not that they just did it. They could have got some young chicks, right?
Yeah,
and done that, but they didn't. They got these seasoned comedians. All of them are of age,
and it really worked. It worked.
And I think the biggest issue is like Mom said, people already made up their minds before this movie ever came out. So when the movie came out, it didn't matter how people felt about it. They had already made up their minds about how they feel about it. So it wasn't gonna. It was gonna get what it got regardless.
It was gonna do well in the box office. Period.
Yeah. And we gotta do better, man. We gotta do better. We just saw this people giving death threats to that black girl from Obi-Wan because they were like, oh, we didn't.
So what is it? Why can't black people be in space?
It's not even that, man. People, when things have been catered to white men for literally ever, they can't take anything.
Why is that so off? That's actually more realistic to have different nationalities.
But
not
you're
just white
you're also talking to
you have different nationalities of aliens.
But you're thinking about it from a logical perspective. They not
or
thinking
even from a Star Wars perspective.
All they're thinking about is themselves and their representation.
This is true.
Because they see anything. If you have a black character, if you have a gay character, you have an Asian character, you have a woman, then it's forced wokeness. But it's really
some of that is just realism because
it is.
That's just what it is.
Yeah, it's
people exist. People exist.
Demographic of people.
People exist. Yeah. People exist. Like other people exist.
If you looked at if somebody was, I don't know, let's say in space for real, and they looked at earthly television and all they saw, for the most part, with few exceptions, throwing things here and there, they would think when they came here that it wasn't this diverse place that has more people of color.
Yeah, and that's the point.
And that's the truth. It does have more people of color here.
And that's the point because that's how they see their world. Everything else, like you think about every action star in the 80s, the majority of them are white.
Outside of Denzel Washington at the time, Everyone else
I was gonna say Action Jackson
was white, but that was one. But he was one getting more work. But outside of that, that was it. Everybody else was white, and that was what it was. So they killed this movie. They killed it. The people killed it before it could get going. And how ugly is that? I was like, this was a great movie. It was funny. It had awesome action.
I enjoyed it.
It had awesome effects, and it wasn't the same story in the same story. You know what I mean? They found a way to create some different dynamics. Throwing in the Chris Hemsworth character was awesome. I mean,
it made it feel different. It wasn't the same thing you had seen. It was a different formula.
Awesome cameos. I mean, it had everything, and people missed it. They jacked up on this one.
Yeah,
because they're bitches.
So I guess we can go for our final words.
I give this movie like a 6.5. I think it's good. I really enjoy it. I think there's like continuity issues here and there that kind of like, you know, for me, it really does bother me a little bit. But other than that, I enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed the cast. I enjoyed everybody doing their thing. And it's a fun movie, man. Like, I just don't see the issue at all. I don't see it.
Your last.
No,
it's your
sorry,
movie.
my bad.
So for me, I'll give it an 8. I mean, the first time I've seen this movie for sure, like 6-7 times, but the first time, I kid you, I was on the freaking floor.
I was here. I was there.
Yeah.
I
was like, this movie is freaking awesome. It was hilarious. I could not stop freaking laughing. I mean, I just loved it. And the creepy parts that were supposed to be scary, they actually were scary to me. So, I mean, they did the job, got it done. The actors were great. Everybody, including that creepy dude. I mean, everybody played their role. This was great. And it did not make the box office because it was a horrible movie. Yeah. That wasn't what it was. This was a really, really good movie. So I hope they, got a lot back in residuals and after, video showings. I hope.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, well, now it's my turn. My pick. I agree. Honestly, I think if it wasn't so many, and then trying to call it out on the fact that it's female leads and
it's pure chauvinism.
Yeah, I feel like that really prevented people from wanting to see it, and that's
we've seen how this country feels about women. So
yeah, true that,
truth. But yeah. So honestly, I enjoyed this. This was an enjoyable movie, no matter what. Whether it was a remake or not, and whether you like remakes or not, it was an enjoyable movie. It had excitement. It was funny, and it had really good comical actors in it. So I give it
comedic.
Comical?
Comedic.
But they're comical. Is that
comedic?
Is comical a word?
Tomato, potato.
No, comical is a word,
tomato,
but this isn't
tomato.
the situation you would use it in.
Yeah. I want to say one thing because she said something which is really interesting. I think also whether or not you saw the original, you could enjoy this movie.
No, yeah, I agree. That's kind of the thing where I feel like I feel like I've said this before, where it comes to certain things like Harry Potter or any Marvel movie or whatever. You should be able to enjoy something without having to read the source material. When you present it as a movie, you should not have to rely on people knowing what it came from in order for the movie to be good.
And that it just only enhances it.
It should be able to stand alone. Right. It should. If it doesn't stand alone, then it's not good. That's how I feel about it. That's why I don't like Harry Potter, because people are like, well, if you read the book, then you would understand this. I was like, well, it's a movie and I shouldn't have to. Yeah. I should still be able to follow this movie without knowing what the fuck happens in the book.
It should be for a wide audience to be able to enjoy.
Yeah, don't do it that way and be like, we left out a bunch of stuff. But if you read the book, but you made a movie, you got to. It's got to still be coherent.
Yeah, and enjoyable.
Yeah. So it is what it is. All right. So who's up next?
Oh, me, I guess, because
So you had it ready.
Yeah. We both ready.
Whatever.
So next week it will be Evan Almighty.
All right. All righty.
I'm looking forward to it.
Really? Were you trying to write?
No, it was that.
Evan Almighty.
I did.
All right.
I did. It was dope. You don't hate.
Well, yeah. So let's get ready to watch that. Your pick.
Yep. All right. Well,
should be interesting.
We're good. Go ahead and enjoy the rest of my birthday.
Did you know you share a birthday with Shannon Sharp?
I did not.
He's 54 today.
Get out of here.
He was a football player turned analyst.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on his page and say happy birthday.
You share
Not that
birthday.
he'll ever see it, but I'll do
Imagine
it anyway.
go shout out.
I know.
He's 50. He's 54. You're 55.
Yep.
Wow. Way to give away your mom's age over the podcast.
Whatever.
It's fine. She still looks
I
good.
earned every one of these dang years.
Yeah, it's like I feel like Grandu. Man, you can't be ashamed of those things.
Nah.
You just got to take them as a badge of honor because you're still here. It's another year to be alive.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So yeah, and that's it. Okay,
All
we're
right.
done. Goodbye.
Okay, gosh,
Deuces.
we are out of here. Later,
Bye.
folks.